right, like the start of Ramadan, the date of Eid al-Fitr traditionally deepens or depends on the sighting of the moon, meaning it can't be predicted precisely. Now joining us in the studio is Shawwal Usman Jibril, member National Moon Sighting Committee of the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. Many thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and Eid Mubarak to you.
Eid Mubarak to you, sir.
So this year's Ramadan fast is 30 days for the obvious reason that the new moon was not sighted on the night of the 29th day. Basically, how significant is moon sighting in Islam?
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Eid Mubarak to you all. Moon sighting or moon is a very important issue in the lives of Muslims, because we have 5 pillars of Islam, and three out of the 5 pillars are directly linked to moon and moon sighting, namely Hajj. We use the lunar moon to determine when it's time for Hajj, when it's Hajj season, and we use the same moon to determine when we begin Ramadan and when we end Ramadan. And in terms of giving out zakat, that is charity, which is due after 1 year, we use the moon to determine the length of the year and give out what is due when the time is due after 1 year. So it's very important. Although this year we were faced with some controversies, because the moon wasn't sighted here in Nigeria on the Friday, the 29th of Ramadan. And His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, released a statement declaring the following day, 30th of Ramadan, that is Saturday. But unfortunately, later on, we started hearing from different places that some people claim to have sighted crescent. And some scholars even directed their followers to celebrate Eid the next day, which is very, very unfortunate, because since the commencement of the leadership of His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, the committee was formed, the National Moon Sighting Committee, because of problems like this, and the committee tried its best to solve this problem. Because initially, if we can all remember, the southern part of the country and the northern part of the country celebrate Eid on different dates. And from experience, when we go for moon sighting conferences internationally, they used to jokingly laugh at Nigeria, because when the rest of the world are still fasting, Nigerians are celebrating Eid. And we have one moon in the whole world. And the moon has phases which determines this lunation period. A complete synodic moon, the lunation period is averagely 29.53 days. That is from when we start seeing a crescent, when it's formed, and to the moment where it will completely wane and disappear. So this period starts with an instant which is known as the conjunction, or new moon, the birth of a new moon. And this instant happens at the same time wherever you are in the world. And this is the first step used in determining the crescent visibility. After this conjunction, it is possible to see this crescent approximately about 12 hours after the conjunction. When the conjunction occurs, the moon becomes totally black. The moon, as we see it, generating light, does not generate any light. The light you see on the moon is a reflection of the light from the sun, because the moon orbits the earth and the earth orbits the sun. So after 29.53 days, it comes a situation whereby they align on the same line, the same alignment, with the moon being in between the earth and the sun. So the moon, from our position on earth, is totally blocking the light, totally blocking the sun. So we don't see any light on the moon. And that's what's known as an astronomical new moon, or a dark moon, or a black moon. So as it continues to make this orbit, with about approximately 12 hours, that is when with a telescope we can see a little tiny crescent that appears as a crescent. And with the naked eye, it's visible to sight it after about 17 hours. The world record sighting of a crescent with a naked eye was achieved in America by an astronomer, renowned astronomer, Steve O'Meara. He has a record of 15 hours, 32 minutes. So, but it's easily seen after 17 hours. What happened this year was the conjunction of Shawwal, that is the month after Ramadan, occurred on Friday by 6:39 p.m. Nigerian local time. And by that time, in most locations in Nigeria, especially the northeastern part of the country, it was already past sunset. And it's not possible to sight a new crescent before sunset. It's only sighted after sunset. And it's not sighted immediately after sunset. You have to give it minimum 10 minutes because of the sun's glare, because the sun is too bright. And during new moon, the first day, the moon and the sun set at about the same time, at very close range. That is why we get solar eclipse during this period of a new moon. So what happened in Nigeria, in the northeastern part of the country, the moon set and the moon sunset was before conjunction of the moon, and in the remaining parts of Nigeria, the moon set was before sunset on that day. And even conjunction was like 5 minutes.
Usman Jibril, and yes, we could let you go on here and on. But we're glad right now you're joining us by Zoom, which is a modern technology as well. Now, where is the place of this will help in information sharing, especially if technology can be applied for moon sighting and also harmonizing these differences? You already pointed out that we usually were made a laughing stock for the other Muslim community across the world. So technology, can this actually play a big role in helping to harmonize these differences in moon sighting?
Yes, it does. In terms of making an announcement, if we can remember, in Nigeria, sometimes His Eminence does not make an announcement until it's around 12 midnight. And a new moon does not last for more than 30 minutes after sunset. So with this technology and the communications we have, His Eminence, in a meeting from 2 years ago, suggested that, and it was agreed that anytime after 8 o'clock, it should be the cutoff time for receiving these records. But unfortunately, it was rejected by some scholars and some traditional rulers. And it was later on agreed on 9 o'clock. Because his argument was, with the technology, how long will it take for you to send an SMS or a call to a district head? And the district head will send someone to confirm the site. So it shouldn't take more than an hour. So you see, technology is trying to cut down the time. And we use technology to verify the claims, to avoid false sighting claims. Because in Islam, naked eye sighting is the teaching. That's what we use in Sharia. But we use technology, not just Nigeria, everywhere in the world, because we move with time. It makes it so much easier for us to sight a crescent. A very good example is, before the traditional way of sighting the crescent was for you to just go out in the evening and sight it throughout the west. The moon does not have a fixed place whereby it comes out, wherever you see it. It changes, just like sunrise and sunset position is not fixed. But with technology, we can accurately determine where the moon will be, the altitude, the azimuth position, and you just go and look straight. If you have a telescope or binoculars, you sight that area and you see it, because you have minimum time. Like I said, the first day, you can see it like 10 minutes after sunset, and you cannot see it for more than 30 or 35 minutes after sunset. And because of the horizon is not completely flat, you stop seeing it 5 minutes before it sets. So if you look at the window, 10 minutes in the beginning and 5, you are left with a window of about 10 to 15 minutes, which is very, very minimum. So if you have the technology and you know where the moon is, it's very easy for you to study. It makes it so much easier. And we use this technology to verify some of the sighting claims, like what I did yesterday. Some of the sighting claims that we got from Nigeria, I called them before yesterday, and I confirmed the position they said they saw the crescent, the time they said they saw the crescent, the time they saw the crescent has set. And the positions they all gave, the shape of the crescent, was totally different from how the crescent is. The National Moon Sighting Committee came up with 5 basic questions to verify moon sighting because of the large number of false sighting claims that we received. The 5 basic questions are: did you see sunset? Because if you say, no, it was cloudy, I couldn't see the sun, and you come and say you sighted the crescent, obviously, then something is wrong. And the second question is, which position of the sun did you sight the crescent? Because sometimes it's directly above the sunset, and sometimes it's to the right, and sometimes to the left. And the third question is, what time did you first sight the crescent? Because we know when it's going to set. And the fourth question is, when last did you sight the crescent? Because if you admit sighting it after it has set, then it means definitely you saw something else, not the crescent. And the fifth and last question, which is very important, is the shape, the orientation, the shape of the crescent, because it's not fixed. If you tell us that it's facing downwards or facing south, and we know, because it's possible with technology to know how the shape is going to be, and on the second day, it's going to be obviously clear, and everybody will see because it's visible. If you give us a shape that's different from what the actual crescent is, then definitely what you saw wasn't a crescent. Because the shape does not change. If the crescent is facing up today, tomorrow it will definitely face up, but it will be bigger tomorrow. Because just like the sun, the moon rises from the east every day and sets on the west. But the difference is the moon has additional 50 minutes every day. That's why on the second day you see it higher. And
all right. Sorry to cut you off there. We're running out of allotted time. Just briefly before we let you go, just give us your words of advice to the Muslim Ummah as we go forward.
I think the whole essence of it is unity. What is very important is for us to unite. We came a long way. The unity in Nigeria was improving, or it has improved. But unfortunately, some people are setting us back. So we should learn our religion and know that it's very important to obey the leadership. Because if we don't obey the leadership, we'll be in disarray. This is the little I can say about it. And I hope I wasn't too technical about the moon sighting.
Very thorough. Very professional.
Yeah, it was thorough and professional, like you said. Now, that's Shawwal Usman Jibril, member National Moon Sighting Committee of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. Thank you very much. At least we learned a bit of science and religion there.